Get this set up. There we are. We're recording you. You're on video.
Good.
How are you today?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's happy to see you in this
Yeah.
position and
Yeah. So you've applied for the position we have
everything.
at. Thank you. Do you need to? Okay. Is that yours? So applications engineer. So
Yeah.
tell me about why you applied for this position.
Well, I see the qualifications of what I have from the more than 25 years of my lifetime that I've spent this amount of time to gather the information on engineering subjects from basic physics and towards the goal of electronics engineering, and after that my work experiences, and then 8 years of my work experiences, and then my MSc degree of control systems engineering. I have gathered all together kind of a match with this position. So this is a motivation. When I have something, I just want to use it and see that it's making progress in the workplace.
Mm-hmm. So this is contribute to system design. So in your past experience, what type of system have you designed?
I designed, first of all, the major thesis for my bachelor's degree in functional electrical stimulations to produce some pulses to be conducted to the human body and muscles to stimulate the muscles in order to make the disabled people to walk and train walking. And then I worked in the position of electronic engineering in the electrical electrical research department for about 2 years, and we was involved with in the production line of the designing and manufacturing of the some electronic for measurement and monitoring purposes, which is used in high voltage laboratories. And also my other works in Pars Tab was about 1 year in 2005. It was about designing and producing some equipment for electrotherapy devices, and has all the electronic boards and things like that.
Now it said in your letter that you had experience in, where did I see it? Controlling and monitoring solutions for railways, power and industrial equipment markets. So when was that?
Yeah, it was actually my last workplace. That I worked there for 3.5 years.
Okay.
That I ended it in August that I came to Canada. In this workplace, I was working with locomotives, electric locomotives, that we've been actually monitored and supervised the maintenance and repair of the locomotives and the relevant components. So also with the former one that was 1 year in Rico, totally I have about 4 years and a half experience in railway vehicles. So
I see that.
for
yes,
this
now.
company, it's as you mentioned, it's an asset.
Yeah, directly related.
To
what we're looking
rail
for.
cars.
Yes.
components, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a good experience that motivated me to this position.
To apply, yeah. So what types of computer programs are you familiar with right now?
C++.
Okay.
C++ is a bit can be used for industrial and design and all the multitask solutions. For every task you can use it as for industry, for controlling anything, or just communicating with the PC itself. But for other analytical control systems and design, you can use MATLAB, and that's a very great scale for analysis and design the control systems. And also LabVIEW, that you can use it for control the industrial
Okay.
components in the fields of factories. We
Okay.
can control the all the components in the factory by only one computer. But that software is called LabVIEW. And I learned it when I was in my MSc educational control
Okay.
systems. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So some of the other responsibilities within this, for this position, that you'd be working within teams, you'd also be working on your own. You'd provide technical and customer support for product applications. And you need technical documentation using software programs such as Word or Excel. Are you familiar with those?
Mostly in Word.
Okay.
And as something like familiarity with Excel, but not I'm professional in Excel, but I know Word and I can use it very well.
Okay. Okay, good.
Also PowerPoint.
And PowerPoint, yeah, yeah. So tell me about, have you worked in any of your positions where you were part of a team? And how did that work out?
In some of the projects in TWM, sometimes we had to organize the workshop, put the information tag on the devices in the workshop, completing some reports for the quality control inspections, and then I was a part of a team. A team was responsible for making the good responsibilities, making it a good job, and making everything ready for the quality control inspectors.
Okay.
So, as an expert of electric locomotives and as someone who is maintaining technically, has the technical information of locomotives and workshop, so I was a small part of the team for making everything organized for the quality control systems.
So how big of a team would you be, would that?
There are two people from the quality control of our company itself, but there was a group from the outside of the company who inspected us,
Okay.
and then I monitored and supervised about 27 or 28 technicians.
Wonderful.
They were in my group, and I was the responsible of them.
Okay. Was there a time where you, within those team environment, did you run into any problems?
Yes, some of the problems were, for example, one time I was informed that we had only 2 days time for get everything organized, reports, information tag on the tools and devices in the workshop. Everything was messy, unorganized, untidy in the workshop. And also, we had a lot of reports missing in the documents. We had only, I was just informed that we had only 2 days time to make everything organized for the inspection. And I forced each one with a special language, and then it was a real pressure on us. We completed all the reports, all the technicians, all the head groups were forced to do the jobs, and we put everything organized in the workshop. But we had a lot of problems, like that when some technicians have free time and they're just ready to work for the goal, the electricity cut off. And we cannot use the crane. All those problems happen at once.
Oh, yes.
And then, but it was really pressure. And then, yeah, but I did it. I did it in a nice organization. And it's the kind of forced work. But after 2 days, because, for example, some of the reports were missing from the last year, the maintenance happened last year, but last year was not under my responsibilities. It was the responsibility of a former colleague. But it taught me a lesson that when I take the responsibility, I have to be watchful for the past also. I shouldn't trust.
Yeah,
Shouldn't trust
Shouldn't
2
assume.
years. Yeah, shouldn't assume that
Assume.
everything is okay from
Yeah.
the last 20
Get your
years.
ducks all in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, so we did it. We did 90% of the job ready for the inspectors. But after the inspection, they were found this, about 2 reports of the maintenance of the last year was missing.
Mm.
And then what I did was that I got another 2 weeks time for recovery, to find and complete the missing reports.
Right.
And I did it, and I went and searched for it, and I talked to my technicians and the head groups, and then we completed it, and after 2 weeks everything was ready.
Mhm. Did you run into any member within the teams that you had some difficulty with? And if you did, can you give me an example of that and how you handled it?
Yeah, one of the technicians didn't accept my responsibilities, and one time I had to say something, and he said, okay, I will do it later. I'm just talking to another colleague. And he said, oh my God, this is not the way of working here under supervision. I'm the supervisor. And I went to the upper position and said the story. And he said, I can talk to him directly if you want. I said, no, that's not necessary right now. If I can see him after that, I will decide if we can continue or not.
Mhm.
But let me see what will happen today and from now on. And if it repeats the mistake, I will take drastic action.
Mhm.
But in those situations, I will first I have to talk to the person, not in the first mistake,
Yes,
but after the second mistake.
yes.
If he is continuing the mistake, I have to talk in a private place, and if it didn't work, I will go to the upper position.
About it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So customer support, a part of the role also is providing technical and customer support for product applications. So you'd be dealing with companies that are using this electronic equipment and so on. From your experience, can you tell me where you were a support person or in that type of a role?
About the customer service, yeah, you're asking about my last experience in such a
Any experience, but your last one, yeah.
The last one was not about the customer service. Our customer was the metro line of the city.
Okay.
So they were not something like customers in the bank. So I want to say something about my...
But they were using your product, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they're your customer, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, so you were in contact with them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It takes a lot of responsibilities.
yes.
It takes a lot of responsibilities. They need all things reported, and we have to watchful about the needs
Mhm.
and what they are talking to and who they're talking to. We have to be ready all the time for
All
them.
the time to answer their
Yeah,
questions.
exactly.
That's what I was looking for, yeah. So tell me some of your strengths, your personal strengths that you would bring to this position.
I'm a kind of knowledgeable because I've been in a lot of industry environments. I've seen a lot of industrial situations and systems and all the kinds of engineering. I'm resourceful.
Okay.
That means I can find anyway my information on the internet. I have a lot of books, CDs, and files with me. And then I'm highly motivated in doing engineering projects because I'm really interested in engineering and especially in my fields. So I'm a really motivated person for this. And I'm motivated to grow and enhance my experience in this position.
And I know your education would fit with what we're looking for here. So I'm not going to get into that. And I've asked you about your computer, you're designing. There is travel involved with this position. You were familiar with that?
Yes.
Yes, and what do you think about that?
The traveling is internationally or inside of Canada?
It says worldwide.
Worldwide, okay. It is good. I'm interested in traveling.
You're good with that?
Yeah. No
You're
problem.
not afraid of planes?
No.
Okay.
I'm lucky.
Just asking, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good, yeah. So do you have any questions for me?
Do you think there's a kind of orientation or kind of training at the beginning of my working here, or how long is that, you think?
That's a good question. I can't answer that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that is a good question, orientation. And as a bit of advice, I don't know if I give that at the first interview, that question. That might be a second interview question for orientation.
Oh,
Any other questions you have?
and about, what kind of project? I'll be a part of the project, or the whole project will be facing me at once, or what kind of project is that, do you think, to be involved with? And after how long I'm gonna have that project, or that it is happening to me at the first day of my working, or it takes a while
For orientation and,
Yeah, for a
that's
couple of
another good
weeks.
question. So that one would probably go to your direct manager. They would have more specifics around that type of answer, yeah.
And one of the experiences from your employees, can I ask you about how soon I can be productive in this position in this company?
So how soon are you expected to be productive?
Productive,
Oh,
is it?
Another good question.
Yeah.
If I was an HR person, you would direct that question to a direct manager.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, although HR might be able to answer you that.
You know that I have the same interview next Tuesday.
I know you do, yeah.
Yes.
So this is for application engineer. So they would probably, and this is just a thought I have, they'll want you to jump right in. And there would be some orientation to the product and to their company, but you would be probably put right into that position and expected to take on within weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah, at that level, I would think.
Yes.
I'm just guessing,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. And I think with your experience, you could do that. In an interview with a manager that manages this role, you'll get more specific questions, you
Yeah,
know that.
exactly,
Yeah,
yes.
good.
I've done it once on the telephone.
Have you?
Yeah.
So you've had a telephone interview?
Yes.
Very good. So you're in the second running.
Yes.
Good for you. I wish you all the luck. Yeah, yeah. So it's a face-to-face, is it?
Yeah,
Face-to-face with one person or a committee?
the two people,
Two people.
HR and manager.
And a manager.
And
Yeah.
the
So the manager will be asking specifics as to your knowledge and
Yeah.
experience on engineering
They
and,
didn't ask me the weakness point of mine.
no. But
Yeah.
then HR might bring that up, yeah. Yeah.
But if you ask me about my weaknesses, I believe that I'm new to this country, and my language proficiency is not as like a Canadian native. So it takes time to flourish and grow in this society. So yeah, that is my weakness.
Yeah, that's,
And the other one is that I don't have experience in Canada. I
yeah.
don't have experience background in Canada. This is the third weaknesses.
You don't have to be bilingual though.
No.
No. Are you bilingual? French and?
Farsi and English. Very good.